My name is Percy Jackson.
Hey guys, this is a solo video. I'm gonna do a reaction video to an interview that came out that Entertainment Weekly did with Arian and Walker. It got some people talking. It had some like trauma-ish things with child actors to discuss, and so I'm not gonna react to the entire thing, but just the stories that I thought had things that I could talk about. If you like this idea, let me know and I'll do more, because there's so many interviews coming out. There's a lot of things to discuss child actor wise. So either way, let me know.
Everything has to be the truth?
No, I don't want that.
Oh, okay.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Tell your worst audition story.
You would never lie to me, right?
When I was first starting, I went to audition for Nickelodeon, and they made me sing, but I didn't think they were gonna make me sing. I learned my lines in the car ride there like the whole time, and I got there and I forgot all of it, and they made me sing, and I picked a Queen song, and I can't do that. So I really didn't get it at all.
That 100% sounds like something.
Okay. This one isn't that serious of a one, but I did want to show this because one thing that I know a lot of former child actors talk about is how traumatic, honestly, the whole in-person audition thing is. One of the things that's happened since COVID is that they don't really do those anymore, because during COVID they couldn't. And I'm honestly kind of surprised that Walker had any at all that were in person, because he started going to auditions and stuff in 2020. And so this must have been before they shut everything down. But that story is exactly why a lot of actors are fine with the idea that they stop doing in-person auditions and just have people send in tapes. Because can you imagine? He was 10 when he did that. Like, can you imagine a 10-year-old going in there, forgetting all of his lines, which is a very common thing when you feel like, you know, nervous to do, and then have to like sing a song when you didn't even think you had to. Ay. Okay, now we're gonna move on to Arian's.
An interrogation.
I kind of love it. I wish we did more interviews like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we never get to. This is our first interview together. We never get to just
this
talk
is
to
great,
each other.
dude. Talk about a fan encounter that stuck with you. I was in Boulder, Colorado, like visiting. I was out visiting the college town. There's like an insomnia. You know what that is, right? Mm-hmm. It's like a really small glass shop. It's probably about the size of this box that's set up here. And I was waiting outside. You know, there was a girl in there, college-age girl, and she saw me. I could tell that she was having some trouble, like knowing whether or not she recognized me. She was like, ah.
Just pointing at you doing that?
Yeah, like kind of. Huh. Well, she was with her friends, and she was like, ah. And basically, I just looked away from her, and then this really, really drunk girl, it was like a Friday night, hugely drunk girl came up to us and was like, oh my God, you guys should go ahead of us. I'm not even lying. This is my friend, Jessica. And he was just like rambling on. He's like, what is your name? And I don't know why, but I felt the need to lie. I was like, my name's Ryan. And she was like, oh, what did you say? And I felt so bad about the fact that I just lied about my own name. I was like, who do I think I am? And I was like, oh, my name's Arian. And then the girl inside the glass shop heard that and was like, whoa, whoa. And then like 40 drunk college girls swarmed me. And then the original, like really, really drunk one who got my name, I was feeling pretty uncomfortable. I put my hands in my back pockets. I was like backing up.
You're really confusing me here.
And then she reached around, put her hand inside of my back pocket. It's true.
Are you okay?
Yeah,
Correct response from Walker there. I've watched this before because the first time I watched it, I got triggered because I've experienced a lot of sexual abuse in my life. This story and one of Walker's was one of why I really wanted to make, and actually another one of Arian's is why I really wanted to make this, but this story is when I was like, okay, I feel like I should do this, because that is sexual assault. And I'm not 100% sure that Aryan and Walker, or like people, young people, necessarily know. Like, I feel like the idea you guys have of sexual assault, and not just you, adults even my age, and I'm 40, have this idea too that sexual assault is like more aggressive, or the idea that you have in your head of like somebody attacking you that you don't know, in a way, even though that's what's happening right now in this story, but in a more aggressive way than I think people imagine it to be. But sexual assault is anything where somebody is like touching you and things like that when you don't want them to. And so in the context of this story, this drunk girl who, he obviously was uncomfortable with them staring at him, where he tried to like lie about his name at first, which like Aryan is not going to see this video, but Aryan, you can lie about your name if it makes you feel comfortable when you don't want strangers staring at you. Child actors they don't need to talk to fans all the time. They can pretend like we don't know who they are, or just lie, because you don't have to talk to fans all the time. If a famous person, especially a child, even though Aryan's over the age of 18, he's still very young, tells you no, there's nothing wrong with that. They are allowed to tell fans no. Anyway, that's already like anyway, what I'm trying to say here is, a girl putting her hand inside of his pocket when she's obviously intoxicated, and there's 40 of them, but there's a lot of them, and he can't really stop them. This story keeps going, like Walker asks, like, are you okay? Because that is a very scary thing. Like, I guess if you have trouble imagining how this story could be like sexual assault instead of just like a funny kind of wild story with fans, imagine if it was like Dior instead of Aryan, and it was a bunch of like college age guys that were surrounding her like that. Nobody would question it when it was that way. But even with boys, don't touch them if they don't want you to. And they definitely don't want you to if they don't even want to tell you their name. Like, granted, these people were drunk, but still, you remember things like this if you really learn them when you're drunk. That's like something that I'm not sure everyone knows, but it's true. If you know that stuff when you're drunk, you're not going to do it when you're drunk, because you don't want to hurt people if you understand that you might be hurting people when you do that.
I totally thought you were lying because you described insomnia cookies way too much. I was gonna say true.
I'm in your head.
I was gonna say true because I knew that you would try to make it sound like a lie, so I thought you were lying.
It's fully real. She reached around, put her hand inside my back pocket with my hand already in there. There's not enough room in the back pocket of jeans for more than one hand. She lingered there like a little longer than I would have liked.
What's the scariest thing I've ever seen? I don't want to pick something because I feel like I've told you like. Did I tell you about? No, not yeah. I did tell you about that one.
Walker, you can lie.
I know. I'm trying to think of I'm trying to think of a good story. That's not believable.
Young child in a very not good situation coming up, just in case. Like, this channel talks about this stuff all the time, but still, Walker is 10 years old when he's in this story. Okay.
My first time in LA. Do you know like the theater? The Chinese theater. I was there with my dad. Like, the first time I was over there, we stayed at the Roosevelt. There was this man in a Spider-Man costume there. And
see, I believe that.
We went to the Hard Rock Cafe, and he followed me into the bathroom, and and I was like 10 years old, and he was like, you really want a picture with me, man? Like, you really want a picture with me? You really want a picture with me? We were in there, and he was like begging to get a picture with me. I mean, maybe that I was gonna pay. I don't know what the motivation was, but then I left.
He followed a 10-year-old young boy into the bathroom. Are you okay, man?
I was wearing a suit.
Oh! I think there's parts of that story I believe. I don't believe the fact that he followed you into the bathroom.
That's 100% true. That did happen when I was like 10 years. I don't know why. And he was like, it was the Miles Morales one, and it was at his like waist and was hanging down.
Oh, dude, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I don't know why I keep choosing the weirdest.
Are you okay, buddy?
Can we move on?
Yeah.
Okay. That one I need to talk about. Just cover bases. And of course, I don't know why. I don't know why I don't know why somebody dressed up like Spider-Man would want a picture, even with little Walker wearing a suit looking all cute. Maybe to sell it? I don't, why? That's just an unsettling sort of story. And I guess that's the best advice I can give for a story like that is to, he's obviously talking about it, even if it would, make him uncomfortable because he wanted to move on from it. He mentioned that he doesn't know like what the guy wanted, which is always the scariest part about situations like that. But, just make sure that you have somebody, if you're a kid or if you are an adult, make sure you have kids in your life that can tell you things like that so that you can help relax them and just think like he was just probably a guy that wanted to sell that picture and wasn't thinking about how unsettling it would be that he followed a 10-year-old kid into the bathroom by himself. And if you're a kid yourself, find somebody by you that you can tell about those things so that you can just kind of let the like anxiety from that just kind of go away. Okay.
Tell your best audition story. This was like when I first started acting. I don't remember the drive there and I don't remember the drive back. All I remember is being in that like, it was like a weird black, but it wasn't quite a black box, but it felt like an interrogation. You know what I mean? It's like if this room was dark. And the guy, he was some like really famous Bollywood actor. I remember my mom was telling me about him. I can't remember.
Stop lying.
I can't remember. This is a fully true story.
No, you can't just say that now.
No, it is a true story.
Is it true?
It is a true story. I win that point.
You gotta finish the story.
I gotta finish the story. I can't remember what the audition was. He kept asking me if I could do stuff. It was like super famous Bollywood actor. And my mom was sitting in the audition room because she was like such a huge fan of this guy.
Like what could you do?
Well, I could do a lot of stuff, but I just got nervous and told him I couldn't. He was like, "Can you sing?" And I was like, "No." And he's like, "Can you dance?" And I was like, "Maybe if there's music." And he's like, "What song do you want me to play?" And I was like, "I don't want you to play anything." And I just kept getting nervous.
This is totally true.
Yeah, and then we left the audition, and my mom screamed at me because she was so mad that I just kept like bombing it. She was like, "What? Why would you tell him you can't? You can sing, you can dance. If there's like, what? Why would you do that?" And I was like, "I don't know." And then I just went home and like ate ice cream.
Dude,
I have a very vivid memory of this.
I'm embarrassed to be your friend.
Are we even friends?
Can I just mention that one of the top comments on this video is literally a trauma dump. And the other one is, what are these stories? Are they okay? So, just to reiterate again with this story, with a story by Aryan instead of Walker, in-person auditions with little kids, I don't know how you could do those without greatly upsetting them in some way. Because that sounds like Aryan was just a little kid who got nervous in front of somebody that he knew his mom really liked and didn't know how to respond. And so he just like wanted it to be over and then wanted to go home and eat ice cream, which is such a little kid thing to do. This is an Allison Stoner, who is a former child star, has an entire podcast episode, and I'm sure has entire chapter in her memoir that came out recently talking about just about in-person auditions and how traumatic they are. But this is why these things should never happen. So that story is just another one to kind of show just how the main thing with child actors that I really wanted to make a point of, Mandy and I on this channel, I usually have my friend Mandy in videos with me. We talk a lot about child actors. We have a whole playlist about times where we've done individual videos about the different actors on Percy Jackson mainly, but in basically every podcast episode, and we have over 100 of them now, we mention that in some way because we're talking about a show that stars kids, and these are two of the ones that star in it. But it's also a thing that I think that people forget that there's this weird parasocial thing that happens with child actors where people feel like you know them because they're these characters that you feel like you know really well. You watch them as like a comfort. If they play a character of yours as a favorite character of somebody that means a lot to you or something. And that combined with the fact that they're kids and people don't think about kids all the time being like their own people overall, I feel like sometimes people forget that child actors are also like human and go through things. And and have things like this happen to them. And to try to remember that, like, next time, if you were ever, like, lucky enough, I'll say, to be in the same place with any of these kids and you see them out, just, like, try to remember these stories in the back of your mind when you're approaching them, so that you know that you're not a weirdo that's going to follow you around a restaurant, like with Walker's story, or you're not going to, like, invade, you know, their private space, like with Aryan's story. And just, these are, like, just normal things that any kid could go through, but it becomes, it gets exacerbated when you become a child actor and there's way more people that could possibly have these interactions with you. And so this interview really made me want to talk about that these are good examples of how people don't sometimes remember that kids that are famous are also still kids, and you need to watch out and take care of them like you would anybody else that you would see as a kid that is this age. So if you like this video, like I said, let me know. I like the idea. Mandy and I aren't really the type to do reaction videos, but this is the kind of reaction video I feel like we could do. If this is something that you guys like, let me know and we'll do some more.